Firing sucks, and I'm here to help you whether you need to let someone go immediately, are thinking about letting someone go, or you're preparing for down the road. Unfortunately, I'm an evil HR lady, and I've been in hundreds of termination meetings, including where I was letting go my own employees, someone that reported directly to me. Also, just to say it out loud, if you're dreading this conversation, that's normal. Good owners, good leaders don't like firing people. They just know that it has to happen. No matter how this ends, you want your employees to leave with their dignity intact. That's very key. They're humans, they're people, right? So we want to make sure that we do this as respectfully as can be, being direct, being empathetic, and telling them what they need to hear, not what you think they want to hear. Firing someone is awkward. The worst mistake business owners make in walking into the conversation is coming unprepared. So before you say, we need to talk, here's a few ways to get ready so you don't panic and do or say something that you really shouldn't, that gets you in trouble. Step 1, be clear on why. Why are you needing to let this person go? There are so many different reasons why someone gets let go. Because they can't show up on time or at all, because they don't finish the things you tell them to, or they don't finish it on time by the deadline. They keep leaving their work area, goes to their car to hide, or they go to their car to nap, or they go to their car to smoke. Fighting, arguing at work, stealing money, your money, stealing your products. So many different reasons. So first, get very clear on why this is happening. Not the story in your head. I don't know. Maybe you're making up some story, or they're just pissing you off and you're like, I need to let them go, so I'm going to say this, and this. No. And don't focus on the 10 things that they've done over the last 5 years. I get that all the time. Well, they've been a crappy employee for the last 5 years. Well, you should have done something, early in that first year, right? Here we are. So now you got to get to the real reason right now. Within the last couple of months, that they are needing to be let go. Here, for example, you've missed 5 shifts in the last month. 5 is a little excessive. You've missed 3 shifts in the last month without a valid reason. Okay, so there are reasons. There are things that you need to take into consideration before you get to this point, of course, right? There's a conversation that happens. But let's say they've missed 5 shifts in the last month and they don't give any real good reason. I just didn't want to, or even car issues, like regular car issues has come up before. It's like, I don't know, find a lift, let me know, so maybe we can, do a ride share or something like that, right? Or another example is your performance hasn't changed. I've been coaching you for the last 2 months. Literally, I've been telling you, you need to work on your deadlines. I'm giving you a week or 2 weeks to do things, and you're taking even longer. I tell you to come with a plan, you come empty-handed. I tell you to set up some time with me, you don't set up time with me. I've been telling you for the last 2 months where I need you to improve, and your performance hasn't improved at all, right? Like that's your specific reason. If you can't say the reason in a couple of sentences, like really clear and directly, you're not ready yet. So gotta go back, take some time to think about it, shove it in AI, ChatGPT, put the situation in, have it pop some things out, and make sure it matches your situation, and there you go. A little rewind on why the preparation is needed. This is where people are like, oh, HR is telling me no and wasting my time. I get it. I swear, I get it. It's whatever risk you're willing to take. It's ultimately your decision. You're the business owner. So the consequences can be very expensive or mess with your company's reputation, or nothing will happen and the situation is all wrapped up nicely with a bow, right? So it's really your decision. I'm just trying to make sure that you're aware of the possible outcomes so that you're not surprised by it, or you take care of it now. It's really up to you. So I've seen it. I've seen it happen before, and prep can save you time down the road from like hours of deposition and going on the stand in front of a jury. I know you got it. I know you can handle it. Just saying, it could happen. and want to get you ready for that before you get to that point. I regularly get, but we're in an at-will state. Most states are at will, except for like Montana. At will means you can fire anyone for any reason at any time, right? Like without prior notice. Just like employees can leave whenever they want, as long as it's not illegal. And that's the part we're preparing for. People often come back and say they were discriminated against, or they were fired because they didn't do something you told them to do because it was unsafe. Hopefully you're not doing that. Or you were retaliating because of a medical reason that they have, or whistleblowing, which is them basically reporting you for doing something illegal, which hopefully you aren't. So that's why we got a little bit of work up front. Not here to scare anyone. If it's a risky situation, get a consultation with a lawyer. But if you can take care of it without going to a lawyer, let's try for that. It's faster and cheaper. Step 2, check your paperwork. Check what you actually have written down. Do you have write-ups, emails, texts? Do you have policies, with assigned acknowledgement? I recognize not all companies have like full-blown employee handbooks and policies. It just helps if you do. And sometimes I joke like, oh, do you have notes scribbled on a napkin? I mean, realistically, I've never seen that. But notes on a napkin is better than nothing. If this situation only lives in your head, like, if you needed to pull something out of your brain, like it doesn't really help as much as I'd like for it to help you. You don't need perfect documentation, but it helps to have something that shows that this wasn't a surprise to that employee. Step 3, decide the outcome before you talk. This part matters a lot. So before the conversation starts, should be way before the conversation starts, decide this topic is about terminations, but make sure you're very clear that it's a termination. I wouldn't go in with the mindset of like seeing how it goes. Oh, we're going to wing it. That's sometimes people then backtrack themselves, from the termination. But here's the thing. If there's new information that comes up that just was a surprise, it's okay to pause. It is okay to pause. So it shouldn't be a surprise at that point if somebody's getting fired for, like, say, attendance, right? And you've already talked to them before, like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, you missed a few days, and they're like, oh, I slept in, and or my alarm didn't go off, or I just didn't feel like coming in. Like, if you've already had that conversation, it's clear about like the reason why they missed and aren't doing like some specific things. You already have your decision made. However, if they come back and say, for some reason, they just bring up something out of the blue, like, no, like, I was in the hospital, I was hospitalized, and I was passed out, and I really could not come in. Yes, I would hope that they would have said this beforehand, but it's okay to pause and talk through. We talked about this, that was not brought up. Like, do you have a little bit more documentation, like a doctor's note? Mind you, you're not asking for medical. You're not asking for medical. You want to stay away from getting into the medical information, but it's just like, we talked about this already and you didn't bring it up. And so this decision is made based on that. So what's changed since that last time that we talked? There's going to be a lot of deflecting, just like a performance write-up, conversation. Employees will say, well, that person did that, like, why are you getting on to me? Why are you terminating me? You should be looking at that other person. Okay, we're talking about you. Like, we're talking about you in this conversation. Thank you for making me aware about those other situations. I'll go look into those and I'll manage it. But right now we're talking about you, and we're talking about your performance, or we're talking about your behaviors, and we're talking about your termination. So, and I'll go into a script and things that you can actually say. Prepare the logistics. Before the meeting, you got to know a few things. You need to know the timing of the final paycheck. Some states require you to have a paycheck same day. In states like Texas, you have to have it within 6 days. So you got to make sure that you're ready to cut that final paycheck so that you can go in with it if you need to, required by law. So some possible fines there. If you have benefits, if you have like some insurance and stuff, or you got PTO, if you're offering paid time off, you want to be able to answer, when do the benefits end, or if they're going to get PTO paid out or whatever. Hopefully you already have that like already in a policy or something that explains what happens, but be prepared to answer that questions. talk about the company property return. So like keys, laptops, if you have a company phone, whatever, like uniforms. If there's something that is owned by the company, like talk to the employee about how to return all those things. It might have to be where, I don't know, you send a prepaid shipping label to them after the fact and they get the stuff into you. And then like sometimes you got to talk about like what happens if it doesn't get returned, where it may be like you dock some pay. But some states have some, pay acts and requirements. So you got to be careful with that. So check into that beforehand. And you got to talk about when they'll leave the site. You got to coordinate if you need a box so they can get their stuff from their desk. I've had where where somebody else goes and collects things and then brings it back to wherever you're meeting. And mind you, in bigger companies, you have people to do part of this stuff for you, right? But like we're talking about, you're starting up, you're scaling. It's basically you, right? You and maybe one other person. That's why there's a lot of this like logistics BS stuff. Like in other companies, that's why they have HR, money suck departments for that. The next step, pick the right time and place. There are lots of things like, oh, don't do this on a Friday and whatever. You do pick the day, like pick when you're going to have the conversation. That's usually after you're ready, when you have everything all lined up. So pick the day you're going to have the conversation. I've seen it mix where it's like right at the beginning of the shift, like right at the beginning of the day, they come in, bam, hey, today's your last day, and you go through everything. Again, I'll provide a script, but it's early in the day. I've seen it where it's towards the end of the day, it's just some of it depended on like when everything was all ready to go. I've seen it in the middle of the day, just with timing and like meetings and stuff like that. So I've seen it in the middle of the day, and then typically, like in larger companies, whatever. In some companies, just pay them out for the rest of the day. So I mean, it's just like just a little bit of, again, going back to that decency and that, and that dignity is just paying them for the rest of the day. So I mean, you don't have to, but it's something to consider. So definitely have it in private. I mean, I think that's a given. I don't think anybody wants to be let go in the middle of a group of people. Like, I don't know, that doesn't make sense, but go find somewhere private, somewhere that, it's a little bit more soundproof, not in front of coworkers. Really, at the end of the day, it's about the dignity, right, for the employee. And then also for you, like, it's with word of mouth, that at the end of the day, they can't say that you were a shitty person, firing them for no reason. Plan your opening line. Don't go winging it. Don't go winging it. This whole conversation is this is not the time to just pull stuff out of your butt. Like, say something simple and direct. They sit down. I would say don't put them in a corner. I feel like a little caged in. Put them somewhere near the door. You're sitting in front of them. This isn't an easy conversation, but today will be your last day with the company. Clear, not a lot of rambling. And then know what not to say. Like, before you talk, remind yourself like what not to say. Don't apologize repeatedly. It's not a debate. I did talk a little bit about if they like brought up new information, that's a little different, but it's not a debate. The decision is final. Don't compare them to other employees. Don't mention personal issues. It's not a negotiation. It's not a back and forth. It's a notification. Today's your last day with the company due to repeated violations of our absence guidelines. The decision has been made that today is your last day with the company. You will receive your paycheck, your final paycheck, Your PTO will be paid out or will not be paid out. Your benefits will end today. It will end next week, whatever. Now we're going to talk about your company property and returning. I'm going to collect some of those now. We will go back to your desk, collect some of your personal belongings. And if you have anything at home, we will talk about collecting those as well. If it gets very emotional, they start crying, that could happen. I think give them some time, right? Give them some time. Hopefully you have some tissues around. It's okay if not. I totally get it. If you're just like unprepared, not having tissues, if they're emotional, if they start yelling, this is a little bit, you might need to do a little bit of pause or you may need to send them home, and then, well, first you need to give them, tell them that they're terminated. You may need to send them home and then coordinate the other stuff, the collection of like personal property, after the fact. If it gets too wild, you got some violence going on, call 911 if you don't have on-site security, right? Some larger companies, they have like security on site, so they can already coordinate with security. Not a lot of people have contracted security. So call 911 if you need to. Like if it gets really rowdy, you take care of your safety, as well as your other employee safety. So do that. It also helps to have a termination letter. So I'll put a sample termination letter. You can Google it and get some other ones too. You can put your company logo on it. But yeah, so termination letter, because it gets used for other things. Employees will take it and, they may apply for unemployment, which I'm not going to go into unemployment. There's different rules for different states and all that stuff there, but, or for legality, right? Again, if they're contesting, that it was a rightful termination, if the employee is saying that it was a wrongful discharge for some illegal thing, a termination letter is going to come up. So I'll give you some samples there that you can use, so that signals to the employee that their employment is ending. So finally, if you prepare like this, the conversation is shorter, it's calmer, it's way less messy. It still sucks. It really does. It just sucks a little less. So good luck. Hope you did, hopefully it goes well and then you get that off your plate. It's the right thing. If you've come to this point, it's often the right thing to do for your business and for yourself and for your other employees as well.